it looks like a naturally made canopy. And also it reminded me of the masquerades we used to have in Nigeria. They still have them actually. I grew up in a village where there were masquerades, and some of them actually looked like this, with their costumes on. It was just majestic. It stood in the middle of the garden where you couldn't miss it. I have never ever seen a tree like this before. Never. And it just makes you feel in awe of nature, of God, of the things around us in our environment. It just makes you appreciate them more, when you see something as majestic as this. Hi family, I'm Dr. Brenda. I'm a licensed daycare provider, a published author of 3 children's books, an advocate, a consultant, a veteran's wife, and a mother. If you need help setting up your daycare service or just looking for great ideas to incorporate a play-based learning approach as well as learn about research-based solutions to issues impacting education, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, share, like. Thank you. Okay guys, we went to the most amazing place we've been to this year. We went to a place called St. Benedict Monastery, and it's in Bristow, Virginia. And we went with a small group from church, and it was amazing. We did a garden tour, and guys, I really don't know much plants, even if I'm African. When we're growing up, we knew fruit trees, mango trees, orange trees, we knew that. We knew bitter leaf and scent leaves, herbal leaves we had in our backyard. We knew all of those. But the trees here, they are unique, they are exotic, and beautifully arranged and planted and catered for. It's just amazing. This place I'm telling you guys about is amazing. We didn't go in the monastery itself, but we had a reverend sister, and her name was Sister Pat, and she took us around the garden. She did the garden tour for us, and she was amazing. She was excited about the plants. She wanted to tell us the names of the plants. I'm sorry I couldn't take many of those names. I had the toddler with me, and then I didn't take a pen and paper. When my husband had arranged this trip, I had no idea it was gonna be this amazing. I just went out of curiosity, and I tell you guys, it is amazing. This tree right here, I can vividly remember the name. It's called a spruce tree, and this tree it looks like a naturally made canopy. And also it reminded me of the masquerades we used to have in Nigeria. They still have them actually. I grew up in a village where there were masquerades, and some of them actually looked like this, with their costumes on. It was just majestic. It stood in the middle of the garden where you couldn't miss it. I have never ever seen a tree like this before. Never. And it just makes you feel in awe of nature, of God, of the things around us in our environment. It just makes you appreciate them more, when you see something as majestic as this. Just standing tall or crouched, looking like a naturally made canopy. It was just amazing to see. This tree, I don't know, maybe I've seen it before, I just didn't take note, but it just was amazing to see it down there at the garden in the monastery. So we kept going, We kept going, and then we came to this part of the garden. It's a grotto, and guys, beautiful, quiet, serene. If you wanted to pray, this is a place for you to pray. Peaceful. And one of the guys, I didn't know what that was. I never saw it before. One of the guys we were with, he's like, here, there's a moth right here. Can you see it? Can you see the moth? It blended right into the environment. It looked like a flower, sprouting or budding, but it actually was a moth. It was a moth just standing right there, looking beautiful and majestic. Look at that. Would you ever think that this was a living thing right here? Would you ever think? I kept going back and going back and going back over and over again, just looking at it and just getting fascinated, about what I was seeing. I have never seen a moth before. So we kept moving around. Every tree has a name. Every plant has a name. Every tree and every plant is tended to according to how they needed to be tended to. There were some places where we went where Reverend Sister Pat was like, no water here. They had another male gardener too who helped out. Sometimes those gardens were divided, and there was one section for this person and another. Guys, it just was the most fascinating thing I have seen this year, and it actually made me value plants even more than I already do. So we kept moving, we kept looking. This was like a big, huge expanse of land. There's a school in there, there is the monastery, and the garden just surrounding the surrounding the compound, I want to say. So beautiful, amazing plants, different colors, very exotic. If you're watching this and you're a plant person, please, if you see any plant that you're familiar with, please leave the name in the comment section. Let's see, So just looking at the majestic plants, looking at the flowers and trees and the greenery was just amazing. It was fantastic. It was phenomenal. We loved it. So, we started from the monastery area, and then we kept going towards the backside. So the sister was like, hey, that sister knew exactly what every single plant was called. And since we went with the garden department of our church, they too, the members, they knew exactly what many of these plants were. So sometimes when I wasn't paying attention, I was watching, probably getting fascinated with another plant somewhere. I'll be like, oh man, I missed the name. What was the name of that plant? And one of the people will tell me what the plant was. And something else I noticed, I really didn't see any like fruit trees here. There were herbs and vegetables, but not really fruit trees, Back in Africa, most of our trees were fruit trees. Mango, oranges, lemons, guava, pear, and not avocado pear, a different kind of pear. And then some were medicinal and herbal too, like the dogoyaro tree and bitter leaf and scent leaf. None of those were here, that I can think of. None of those plants that I knew growing up were here. So we kept going. We came to this part. There was a funeral going on there. And when we get to that part, I'm going to tell you all about it, because that's another major part of the monastery. I mean, I'm telling you, this place was super awesome, super amazing, just serene and quiet, and just amazing. I can't tell you enough. So we came here where they already, there was, and another thing, they created a space where there could be birds and butterflies, so there were a bird bath or something for the birds to drink, and there were birds there. We saw some birds right there. So this is it. We kept walking around and looking at the trees. Every tree, every flower, every plant was accounted for, every which one. So we kept looking at the beautifulness of everything, and it was amazing. So we kept walking. Another new thing that I learned, just going here and exploring, and just understanding all over again the beauty of nature, the beauty of the work of God, the beauty of greenery. It's fascinating when you are actually in the midst of it. So we kept moving around. We kept going in, and see here, you can sit down, you can read a book, you can smell the beautiful smells. And I did want to come closer and read this. What is the perfect lawn? You may notice dandelions and other weeds in the tough grass in the teaching garden. In an effort to be better stewards of the land and reduce the use of herbicides, the teaching garden has, you can pause that and read it. But I read it when I was there, and I was like, oh man, this would be fascinating to just have in the video. But butterflies, especially some very pretty ones that we saw there, and we're just looking, hey, there's a butterfly here. They did have a butterfly garden, but for some reason we couldn't find any butterflies, that day that we went. Just a handful of butterflies were there. So it seemed like every part of the garden that you saw, there was something unique, there was something fascinating to look at. And man, I just was like, wow, this is really, really amazing. This is putting myself in the midst of nature like never before. And it is fascinating. It's a satisfying feeling. And I absolutely enjoyed, being at the garden. I like that they had like benches at different stations where you could sit down and pray, meditate, read a book, just be yourself in nature, just enjoying life and in solitude and in quietude. So I saw that this is garlic, and this is my kind of plant. It says do not water. So for some reason you shouldn't water the garlic plant, and I was like, oh wow, that's good. That's amazing. It's amazing how just like people, plants are different, just like people are different, just like plants have different colors, different needs, different temperaments. So also people have different colors, different needs, different temperaments. We can learn from the diversity in plants. As human beings, we can learn from that, So I was looking. We were all looking. You could see some of my groups, they were scattered around, just looking at the plants, just admiring what was going on here. They had those drinking things for the birds to come and drink. We were lucky to see some beautiful birds and butterflies here and there. it was just so fascinating. And look at that beautiful butterfly bench. Beautiful, just so fascinating, just so calming, just so beautiful. We absolutely loved it. Loved going here. It was amazing. And then we came here. This is the place of peace columbarium, and they say that they have it's just like a place to reverence the dead. It's in the middle of the garden. It's a place of peace. We saw some family members come and just sit down, relax, say a prayer. It's just amazing. On the website, it says there are 2 freestanding circular units with 80 niches each, and 1 larger 320 niche eclipse units are harmoniously designed around a central peace angel statue. I'm telling you guys, beautiful. Each niche can hold 2 urns. Marble benches provide resting places for quiet reflection. Parking is on site and the area is accessible to all. It was beautiful. And then they had a garden for bereavement, like for mothers who've lost their babies. They had a garden for them to come there, sit down, reflect, and just talk, And then they had these 2 beautiful things. You could stay in the middle and just say a prayer, sing to God, and it would echo all the way up to heaven. These were like storage things, like those silos, but look what they made it into. Look at the stained glass, and the way there's a hole at the top where you can just sit down and reflect and pray and sing. Oh my goodness, it was so fascinating to be here, and I'm glad we went. I'm glad I was able to experience this, and I'm telling you that this was the most fascinating thing that I've done this year. And then Reverend Sister Pat, she said they had a special burial ground for babies that were not full term, and I just thought, wow, how amazing is that? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Love you all. Bye.